Hey everybody, welcome back to Tires on the Road. Hey, brought the Avenue home today. It's a nice day. It's only supposed to be 88 today. Nice little south breeze, so that marine layer has come in and given us a little cooling here in the valley. Today, going to be taking the 320 watt panel off, installing a 400 watt panel in its place, and then going to be relocating the 320 watt panel to a new location. And the reason I'm putting the 400 watt panel here in this location is because the size of it fits perfect in this location, and I can relocate the 320 watt because it's smaller into a more conducive location. The first thing I'm going to be doing is disconnecting the existing panel. I am going to go in the front compartment. I'm going to shut the solar power off there and then disconnect the MC4 connector on top of the rig and then unbolt that panel so I can use it as a template for my adapter plates for the 400 watt panel. Reach up in here so I don't have to take everything out. Turn that one off. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to turn them both off. So I got the house off and I have the solar panel off. It's a little tricky getting to those, but like I said, I'm going to make an adapter plate to go from this to my 400 watt panel so I can reuse these existing mounts. I want to keep the holes and redoing things on the roof membrane to a minimum. Maybe I will have to pop this side off, fix that air bubble. I got 3 of the 4 undone. Unfortunately, the 4th one has some bunged up threads and that bolt won't come out. So I'm gonna have to pull the bracket. I do have the panel covered up, not to stop from making solar, but just so it doesn't get too hot so I can handle it. I gotta pull the panel so I can get to the connectors because the connectors are under the panel. All right, disconnected, negative, positive. This is the fuse, probably a 20 amp fuse in line. Got my panel disconnected, so this should come right off. This is the one bolt I could not get off, so I had to remove the whole bracket. Here's the size difference between 320 watt and 400 watt. 80 watts more, you get about 1/3 larger panel. I am running 2 MPPT solar chargers. I'm running a 20 amp for the 320, and I'm putting a 40 amp MPPT controller in for the 40 watt. I'm gonna run the 40 watt through the existing cables that came with the rig, and I'm adding new cables for the 320 watt. I've already installed the larger MPPT controller for the 400 watt panel. So once I get this up, I'll be able to plug it in. Then the other side, I'm basically just gonna be starting from scratch. All right, just like any remodels, we have a change in plans. Since I had to remove one of these brackets because I couldn't get the bolt out, I just went ahead and removed both of them. So I'm gonna clean these up. I'm gonna get rid of the 1/4 inch aluminum plate for my adapter plate. I'm going to clean the roof off. I'm going to use the 2 brackets that are already up there for the outside, which is gonna hold one side of my panel. And then the other side, I'm just gonna go ahead and mount these to the panel. I'm gonna put in new holes and drill these and secure them onto the roof. All right, now for the fun job. Scraping all this goop up. Nice thing is it's really warm right now, so it really helps this come off. So there was no nut installed on the back side of this. All right, well, I don't want to leave this the way it is, so I'm gonna pull this penetration off so I can get the nuts on the back side right. Since I got to reseal some other stuff, I'm just gonna reseal this at the same time. Yep, there's the nut. It was supposed to be on the back of the negative. And there is a nut on the positive, so that's good. Got all the gook off, except for in there. Not gonna really matter. Got the bottom cleaned up. So now I can start putting the connectors back in and getting those sealed up properly, and then reinstall it. We now have 720 watts of solar on the roof of our RV. Installed a new penetration in the roof, which was really simple to do, and I will show you that inside the rig. I removed the skylight in the shower to be able to gain access to the attic space to get the wires over to the fan area and then down the wall to the main control panel. There's a couple reasons why I have two MPPT charge controllers. This one being the 20 amp and this one being the 40 amp. And because I only have two solar panels on the roof, one being a 400 watt, the other one being a 320 watt, the amperages is different on those that comes to the MPPT controller. If I'd have put them in parallel, I would have only been getting the amperage that the lower panel puts out. So my 400 watt panel would be operating, but I'd only be receiving the lowest amperage, which from the 320 watt panel. That's the reason why I went with two MPPT controllers. The other reason is I have redundancy now. If one of these controllers goes out, I still have the other panel and the other charge controller to take its place. So I have a bit of redundancy here. It's not perfect, but at least if something happens to that charge controller, the panel, the wiring, I can still get some power coming in from one of the two panels. I am going to be changing out this disconnect right here with a breaker style like this so that I can be able to break the negative and the positive. This one here just breaks the positive, so that one is going to get changed out to match this breaker. So just to let you know, this is not a how-to video, it's how I did it, and I just wanted you to see what we did to be able to make two different watt panels be able to operate in our RV. I don't know if I'm going to go any farther with the solar upgrade. This will be plenty sufficient to be able to supply power to us now during the winter time with the shorter days and be able to sustain us boondocking. We'll be able to do pretty much everything we've normally done, except we won't be able to run the air conditioners. I don't want to add any more weight to the rig, only from the standpoint of my truck payload, and the rig still has plenty of payload left in it, but I don't care for having the rig maxed out. So it's a fine balance between the upgrade you put into the rig, what your axles can handle, what your gross payload is for the rig. As far as any more solar upgrades go, this is pretty much it, because I don't want to add that extra weight to the rig, and what we have right now is more than sufficient to be able to sustain us while we're camping. And that's the primary word there, is camping. We're not trying to make our camper into a house, because it's not. It's built for camping, and we just need enough power to be able to sustain ourselves and to be able to get through the evenings till we can get back to morning when we're generating solar power. So just a quick rundown on where we're at now is we have two Renogy 200 amp Bluetooth batteries under this cover right here. We have one 20 amp charge controller and one 40 amp Renogy MPPT charge controller. We have the Renogy core inside, which monitors all this. Plus, it gives us expandability in the future if we want to be able to put in some remotely operated switches and some other accessories that they sell with the Renogy core. That all connects to my phone via Bluetooth so that we can monitor the health of our batteries, the amount of power we're using, to be able to make sure that we're able to sustain ourselves through the evening, rainy days, cloudy days, camping in partial shade. It's really important that you have that information to be able to manage your energy system. Also remember that the solar panels don't mean anything unless you have a way of storing that energy and moving that energy from solar into your batteries and then into your coach. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up. If you got anything out of it or you have any questions, make sure you leave us a comment. We also have a Facebook page now, Tires on the Road, so look us up and start following us on Facebook. And we will see you in the next video. Until then, keep the shiny side up and the greasy side down. Okay, we now have the 20 amp controller, the 40 amp controller. The 40 amp is controlling the 400 watt. The old 20 amp is back on the 320 watt. Breaker, fused up on the roof. Actually, no, I need to put that fuse in.